For the video retake, I'm going to talk about the keywords again. Of or percent of means multiply. Very important for these problems. Is or is equal to always means equal sign. And what is or what number is or what number, anything that we don't know the number of is our variable. And when we're talking about variables, I almost always use x just to be consistent, but you can use any variable that you think is appropriate. So let's go through a couple more examples. For the first problem, the first keyword that I'm looking for is of or percent of. I see it right there. Percent of means times. The second keyword is or is equal to, which I see right over there. And the final keyword is what number is, something like that, gives us our variable of x. Now I'm going to rewrite this as a decimal, and I'm just going to rewrite my number normally. Now I have my equation, but this doesn't look like how we'd normally write out an equation. So I'm going to put all of the numbers a little bit closer together just so it looks like a normal equation. And from here, all I have to do is solve for my variable of x. X is not alone, so I need to do the opposite of whatever the number next to the x is doing. We have 10% times x. So I'm going to divide by my 10 hundredths. From here, I have a decimal inside of my fraction. I am allowed to use a calculator. And if I type that in, I get 400. The way I like to check these problems is I put it back into the original problem, wherever the what number is, and I ask myself if it makes sense. So 10% of 400 is equal to 40. And that makes sense because if we do 400 divided by 10, because that 10% is 1/10 of something, it should be equal to 40. So that looks like we've done the problem correctly. Let's do another example. Once again, we're going to identify our keywords first. I found of, which means times, is means equal to, and what percent is our x. Now, once again, like the other video, I noticed that we're asking for a percentage. So I'm going to put on the side, change to a percent. Because if you're going to make a mistake on these problems, forgetting to change it to a percent is very common. Let's finish our equation. 40 is equal to x times 200. Let's regroup it. From here, I want to divide by 200. And I get x is equal to, this is 20 hundredths. If I converted that fraction to a decimal, which I'm going to let you do on your own because we have done that a lot. But we have to change it to a percentage. 20 hundredths is the percent of 20%. And that is my final answer. Let's do one more. 40% of what number is equal to 20? Last time, we're going to identify our keywords. Of means times. Is means equal. What number is our variable? Change to a decimal and rewrite our last number normally. From here, I just want to rewrite my equation a little bit closer together just so it's easier to read. And then I ask, is x by itself, which it is not, 40 hundredths times x, Opposite of multiplying is dividing. X is equal to fraction and a decimal, so I can use a calculator. X is equal to 50. Let's do one last story problem, and then we are fully done with this topic. Timberwolves tickets are on sale right now. Yesterday, tickets for the next game against the Boston Celtics. The problem says boo. I didn't say boo. The problem says boo. That's a whole different thing. We're selling for $85. Okay, so today those tickets are only 40% as much. Okay, how much are the tickets today? So yesterday the tickets were $85. Today they're 40% as much, 40% of the tickets. So it's 40% times my $85 is equal to my new tickets today as X. So to solve this problem, X is by itself, so we just have to convert this to a decimal. And I just multiply. When I multiply, I love having a 0 in the denominator down here for this part. It saves me a step at least. 34. Now I had 2 digits behind the decimal point when I started, so I end with 2 digits behind the decimal point when I end. So our final answer is the tickets are $34 today. As always, if you have any questions, please